Lena and Aaron had been driving through the winding, fog-drenched roads of Romania for days. Their itinerary had been filled with the promise of rustic villages, haunted castles, and the lure of a forgotten history. But the road to their next stop was different, quiet, desolate. The small village of Vâlcea was only a dot on their map, a place for a brief pit stop before they continued on their way. They hadn't expected much, just food and rest, perhaps some local charm, but when they arrived, the air felt wrong. The village was eerily empty. Narrow streets lined with old stone houses seemed abandoned. The only sounds were the creak of their cars' wheels on the gravel and the distant whisper of wind. The sun had long since dipped behind a thick layer of clouds, casting everything in a grim, ashen light. No children played in the streets, no dogs barked, and there wasn't even the faintest hum of life.
This place looks like it's been forgotten. Where is everyone?
Maybe they're all indoors, or it's just a quiet village.
They parked near the small inn, a decaying building with peeling paint and a sign that read Pensioner Vâlcea. Inside, the air was stale, thick with the scent of mildew and aged wood. The owner, an elderly man with a hunched back and an unsettlingly wide smile, greeted them from behind the counter. His eyes glinted, too sharp for someone his age. Welcome, welcome. You come for food, rest, you stay, it's safe here for now.
Yes, just food. We've been driving for hours.
The man motioned them toward a small dining area where the tables were set with old porcelain dishes and dried flowers. It felt like a place frozen in time, too quiet, too still. As they sat, the man brought them bowls of thick, dark stew. The scent was intoxicating, rich with herbs and spices, but something was off. The meat, it didn't look right. Lena's spoon paused halfway to her mouth. The texture was too firm, the color too dark. She frowned and pushed the bowl away.
Is something wrong?
I don't know. I don't think this is normal.
But Aaron, more hungry than cautious, dug in, barely noticing the oddity of the dish. He was too tired, too worn out from the journey. But as the seconds passed, his stomach twisted, discomfort gnawing at him.
I'm going outside for some air.
The elderly man watched her leave with a smile that didn't fade. Aaron pushed the thought out of his mind and continued eating. He hadn't noticed that the shadows outside had deepened into something unnatural, as if the night had fallen in a rush. When Lena returned, her face was ashen, her eyes wide with panic.
Lena, what's wrong?
I saw something. There's something wrong with this place. I saw people in the fields. Their eyes. Aaron, their eyes were empty. Like they were waiting.
What do you mean, waiting?
They were just standing there in the fields, staring at the sky. But it wasn't normal. They don't move. They don't blink. It's as if they're frozen, or waiting for something. I swear, there's something happening here.
Aaron dismissed her fears, but his mind began to race. Had she seen something? Or was it just the exhaustion? But then the real horror began. The door to the inn slammed open and the elderly man entered. His wide smile had stretched unnaturally, revealing teeth too sharp, too long. The air grew colder and Lena could see that his pupils had dilated to nearly black. He didn't move like a normal person anymore, his steps slow, but deliberate, like something else was controlling him. They are coming! The Căpcăuni are coming!
The Căpcăuni?
The old ones. They come when the moon is full, and they feast. They feast on the flesh of the living. They hunger for those who trespass. A scream echoed from outside. It was distant at first, then closer. A chorus of screams rising from the village, filled with terror, yet no one seemed to move. No one seemed to intervene. Run, you must leave, they're here. The door slammed shut behind him with a violent crash.
We have to go now.
They raced out of the inn, but the village had transformed. The fog was thicker, and the shapes of people, pale, with eyes like empty black pits, emerged from the shadows, standing motionless like sentinels. They were waiting, watching. Lena and Aaron ran blindly, the sound of their own breath echoing in the eerie silence. As they approached the road, something moved behind them, a shadow too tall, too unnatural to be human. They turned just in time to see the Căpcăuni, creatures of myth, ancient and hungry, their long limbs twisting unnaturally as they moved toward the village. Their mouths were too wide, their teeth too long. They wore the skin of villagers, empty shells of people, their eyes never blinking, only watching. Aaron grabbed Lena's hand, pulling her towards the car. The engine sputtered to life, and they sped away, leaving the village and the horrors behind. But as they drove through the mist, the shape of a tall figure appeared in the rearview mirror. A figure whose eyes glowed with an unnatural hunger. The hunger of the Căpcăuni had followed them, and it was only a matter of time before they would return. Subscribe to Terror Tales, like and share. Thank you for watching.